Hello. Oh, what am I doing? I'm in the corner. Hold on. I put myself in the corner. Excuse me. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. It's good to see everybody here on a Tuesday night edition of Missing Person Monday. I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so I postponed it. I'm not feeling great today, but I'm feeling a little bit better. So I apologize in advance for any whatever. But we will get through it as we always do. It is good. Like I said, it's good to see everybody here on a Tuesday. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for choosing to join us tonight to learn about some missing person cold cases. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some missing person cases from the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota area. And I put, missing in Minneapolis on the thumbnail, but it's Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's the same thing. Might as well be the Twin Cities, because I found some interesting cases from both. So that's why I included both. But let's see who is here. If you're watching Replay Crew, thank you so much. We love our Replay Crew. If you are Replay Crew, please leave me a comment down below to let me know that you are Replay Crew. Let's see who is in chat. Miss Farr is here. Good to see you. Mustang is here. Good to see Mustang. Chris is here. Miss Paula is here. Stormy is here. Sorry, my computer's being slow. Klein is here. Missing Black People the Forgotten. Welcome, sir. It's good to have you here. And I saw somebody. It's Avery. There she is. Avery. A new name. Another true crime junkie. But she says, "Hey, it's Avery." So we are glad to have Miss Avery here as always. Junior is here. Come on, there he is. And Junior has been a member for 19 months. He says, hello from Michigan. Thank you so much, Junior, for being here. Thank you for your continued support. So we get to put a cow in the pasture early. I always have to wrangle the cow. I always lose the cow. There she is. Thank you, Junior. Your support is very much appreciated. Junior is one of the OGs. He is. Oh, I disappeared my chat. There it is. He is one of the ones that's been here since the beginning. Known of Junior just like I've known a lot of y'all before we even had channels through other chats. So it's always good to see Junior here. Thank you, Mustangs, getting in links. Yes, please check out Stolen Spirits MMIWG. Obviously, they cover missing and murdered Indigenous persons. They're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, and I do believe I have their Facebook. Oh my gosh, everything's moving so slow. Their Facebook link, so I will throw it in right quick. Give me a second. So if you're on Facebook, please go over to Facebook, check out their flyers, their posts. They do a wonderful job bringing awareness, like I said, to MMIP, MMIW cases. Uh-oh. Sounds like me. Avery says, I can't get into my regular channel because I can't remember the email. See, that's the way it is. Well, I finally got logged back into my Southern Gal account, a Facebook account on my phone. It just magically let me in one day. It was after the alien thing. For anybody who if you know about the alien thing. But I need to log into I'm logged into my personal account on my computer. I do remember everything to get into that, but I can't remember my password to my Southern Gal account to log in on my laptop. So anyway, and I thought I had everything written down, but apparently I've lost it somewhere. Anyway, yeah, Stormy says she can never remember her passwords either. Yeah, I'm getting old. Yeah, Ira says I know the password, but can't remember the email. Yeah, I can usually remember because I use the same email for most everything. It's just the and I use the same password or variations of the password for just about everything. But I've tried to log in to my Southern Gal account, and I cannot get the password. Can't get the password. But anyway, at least I can get into it on my phone, which is what I use most of the time anyway. So all is good. All is good. Stormy's moving. Oh, did it come up? I'm telling you, my laptop is raining here. It's been raining here in Central Arkansas since about 3:30. So that's what I'm going to blame it on for everything. Everything running slow. The rain and my farm signal. Let me see. Oh, I need to get a new phone. Ivory says she got a new phone and everything's been all messed up since then. Yeah. Hey, Mark, good to see you. I'm glad you could make it. Yeah, Mustang says she uses the same password for everything. I do too, which is really not good. But I mean, I can barely remember one password, much less 20 or how many, for whatever accounts I have. So I just kind of have different variations of the same password that I try to use. So I'll go through all those variations until I find the right one. But apparently I have not been able to find the right one for my Facebook account. So, goodness, it's always something. Always something. Let me get caught up and we will get started. I think I have 6 cases to go over tonight. And I apologize in advance because I'm probably gonna have to stop every once in a while to blow my nose because I don't know if I've got like one of them summer colds or it's just my allergies acting up. But I mean, I'm telling you, it's just horrible. But if that's the worst thing I have to worry about, then that is okay. Let me see. Just getting caught up. Yeah, I was thinking about you earlier. Mustang is up in Northwest Arkansas. She said it rained and stormed here this morning, lost power for over an hour. Bless your heart. Yeah, I was watching before I ventured out to work, because I went to work early today to try to get in some work before the rain started. And I noticed it was storming pretty good up in your area. We didn't lose power here. Now we lost satellite, of course. One raindrop could fall here and the satellite goes out, but we need the rain, so I'm not complaining. We definitely need the rain. Sleuthy said it's been thunderstorming all day where she is at also. Chris said, yeah, Chris, you're in Kansas, right? I know Kansas or parts of Kansas got hit pretty hard yesterday with some tornadoes. So, Chris, I hope everything is good your way. Junior says he can't get into his PayPal account. I stay logged into my PayPal account. So I usually, and I've got where I can just use my what they call it, I can just touch the little sensor thing and it'll log me in. It's like biometrics. Is that what it's called? Biometrics. So it'll log me in. Yeah, Mustang says her allergies are bad too. I know mine are always bad, but it just seems like this year they have been worse than usual. Yes. Mustang says, yeah, it didn't take much of the satellite to go out. I'm telling you. Oh yeah, so the Sleuthy's in Texas. Stormy's in Texas. Yep, y'all got a little bit of weather over there too. Yeah, Chris says yes, there are a lot of missing persons, unfortunately, in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Unfortunately. All right, I think I'm caught up, so we will get started. Let me mark that. Bring up my slideshow and give me just 1 second. All right. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about missing persons, Minneapolis, St. Paul. 6 cases, I believe. I think I was able to find at least one article, aside from the Charley Project, on all of these cases except for one. But for that one, just a little bit of information we have, we will go with that. But the first one, now I got to go back to the information. First one we have is Tamara Colleen Bradley. Excuse me. Tamara has been missing since September 30th, 1994, from Minneapolis. She is a white female. She was 30 years old when she went missing. She will be 62 years old as of 2026. When she went missing, she was 5'4" tall, 135 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. She has a scar on her pinky finger from reattachment surgery. So I don't know some accident or something, apparently. She has surgical scars on both knees and some kind of surgery. It says surgical jaw on her jaw. I don't know what they mean by that. Maybe a misprint, but apparently some kind of surgery on her jaw. She has previously broken her left arm. She wears a partial denture plate. Her ears are pierced. She has a mole on the left side of her upper lip. And her nickname is Tammy, which is sometimes spelled Tami. Her last known clothing is a dark colored t-shirt, blue jeans, and a ski jacket that was either green, dark blue, or black, and sneakers with a light reflector on the back. And it said that she normally carried a clutch purse. So Tamara was last seen at approximately 3:30 p.m. on September 30th, 1994, leaving her place of employment, which was the Federal Foam Technologies in the 3500 block of Second Street in North in Minneapolis. She has never been seen or heard from again. At the time of her disappearance, her 5-year-old son was visiting her ex-husband's father. So her silver 4-door 1988 Buick Century Custom was located on October 3rd. So 4 or 5 days afterwards. at a Greyhound bus station in the 1000 block of Hawthorne Avenue. It was towed to an impound lot. It was not connected to her disappearance until later. So, unfortunately, we see that in a lot of these cases that a vehicle is found and not connected to the missing person until several days later. So that's time lost on figuring out what happened. Authorities did examine the vehicle, but they found no indication of Tamara's whereabouts. Her family stated that they can think of no reason why she would want to just walk away and abandon her child. Her company was moving to another state, and she planned to move also to be closer to their new location. There's been no activity on her financial account since 1994. She left behind uncashed paychecks and an uncashed child support check, and her case remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, and it says the Blaine Police Department. So I don't know where Blaine is, or why the Minneapolis PD is not in charge of it. But at any rate, contact the Blaine Police Department at 763-427-1212. And let me see what I was able to find on her. I believe I have an article with some an interview statements from her family. Oh man, if it'll load. 1 second. Oh, come on. There we go. So this is from NBC News, and as always, the links to all the online news sources that I use are in the description box, so please check them out. But this article is from September of 2019. A family of Minnesota mother Tamara Colleen Bradley, missing since 1994, say they just want closure. I think that obviously is just what all families want, is closure is a blanket statement, but just some kind of answers, as to what happened to their loved one. But it says Tamara Colleen Bradley left for work for the weekend, focused on looking for a new house. Her company, Federal Foam Technologies in Minneapolis, was moving to a different state, and she wanted to move out of her house. Oh, so she lived in Blaine. Out of her house in Blaine, Minnesota, and move closer to the new office. So maybe that is why the Blaine PD is in charge, since she lived there. So Tamara never got the new house. On September 30th, 1994, Tamara walked out of the building, the place where she worked, and she has not been seen since. Her family said that it is not like Tamara to just walk away from her job, her family, and especially her 5-year-old son. Tamara's sister, Wendy Edwards, told Dateline, quote, her son was everything to her. She would never just leave. Somebody did something to her, end quote. According to Blaine Police Department Captain Todd Olson, a co-worker saw Tamara leave work around 3:30 p.m. that Friday. She was driving north on Washington, according to the co-worker, and apparently this was her normal route. Was to drive north on Washington and then to East River Road. So the company was moving to Wisconsin. So Wendy said that Tamara was planning to look at houses closer to the state line. Wendy said, quote, she was planning to look at houses that weekend, that very same weekend that she disappeared, end quote. Tamara was supposed to pick up her son from her ex-husband's father's house on Sunday. Police said that obviously she never showed up to pick up her son, and Wendy said that's when we knew something was wrong. So just a few days later, on October 3rd, police said that Tamara's vehicle was found. Her silver Buick Century Custom was spotted at a Greyhound bus station on Hawthorne Avenue in Minneapolis. So it was towed to the impound lot, and it was, like I said earlier, not connected to her disappearance until later. Authorities examined the vehicle. The keys were still inside. along with her uncashed paychecks and a child support check on the dashboard, but they found no indication of Tamara's whereabouts. So just my opinion, just from that information, that if I would think that if she left of her own accord and did hop on a Greyhound, that she would have taken the uncashed paycheck, she would have taken the child support check, but apparently not. Once again, to this day, there has been no activity on her financial account since before her disappearance. Her sister Wendy told Dateline there was no way that her sister drove to the Greyhound station. So this is obviously another red flag. Wendy said, quote, "My sister was 5 foot something. She was small, but the driver's seat of her car had been pushed all the way back when it was found. Somebody else was in there," end quote. So yeah, I mean, I'm 5'4", and when I drive, I mean, my seat is pulled almost as far up as you can get it. So, I mean, obviously somebody probably much taller than Tamara was possibly, I'm going to say obviously, possibly driving the truck, the truck, if the seat was pushed all the way back. So many people were questioned in Tamara's disappearance, but no arrests have been made. Captain Todd Olson said the case was actively worked until February of 1995. So in January of 2009, Captain Olson said they did receive a lead on a possible match to a Jane Doe that was found in Wyandotte County, Kansas in October of 1999, but that match was ruled out. Captain Olson said, quote, this is currently considered a cold case with our department, and we have not received any other leads to this point, but we'll investigate any that should arise, end quote. So you always hate to hear that, but I mean, if they don't have anything to go on, any new leads, there's not really a whole lot they can do. I mean, just hopefully they at least take the files out every once in a while and look at them to see, or bring in some fresh eyes, just to see, if they can see anything they missed, or see anything, like I said, that they might have missed before, or take a look at things again. So Tamara's son, after she disappeared, went to live with her sister I almost said Wednesday. Wendy. I can't talk tonight. It's a Monday. No, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. So this is from 2019. So in 2019, her son was 30 years old, which was the same age that his mother was when she disappeared. Wendy, who was granted custody of her nephew when she was just 25 years old. So I wonder why the ex-husband was not granted custody. So either he didn't want custody, or there was some reason that the sister got custody instead of the dad. The sister was granted custody when she was just 25 years old. She said that even though Tamara's son doesn't have many memories of his mother, they do remind him often. Wendy said, quote, "I was the youngest of 6 kids growing up, but Tamara would always find time to spend time with me, to help me with math. She was good at math. She played darts. She had a great group of friends, and no one disliked her. And most importantly, she was a good mom," end quote. Wendy told Dateline their family is just ready for closure in Tamara's case. When I keep wanting to say Wednesday, Wendy said, quote, "It will be 25 years Monday. It's been a long time, and we would like some answers," end quote. Wendy and Tamara's mother had been battling Parkinson's disease for years, and her health at that time was rapidly declining. So I wonder if her mother is still alive. Lost my place. So Wendy said, quote, "I want nothing more than to have a closure for my mother before she passes away. She still talks about Tamara like she's here, saying that she just spoke to her, or she'll ask why there's no news coverage on her. It's like she thinks we're back in 1994, end quote." Oh, that just breaks my heart. At the time of her disappearance, once again, Tamara was 30 years old. She was 5'4" tall, 135 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. Once again, she has the scar on her pinky finger from reattachment surgery, surgical scars on both knees, one scar on her jaw, ears are pierced. She has a mole on the left side of her upper lip. If you have any information on what happened to Tamara, no bit of information is ever too small. Once again, call the Blaine Police Department at 763-785-6168. So that's what we have on Tamara. Excuse me. It's just so heartbreaking to read with the family and the mom being, like I said, that article I think was from 2019, 2026. I don't even know if her mom, I hope her mom is still alive, but with Parkinson's, that's just a horrible, debilitating disease. It's just, anyway, I haven't seen him lately. Mustang asked if anybody has seen Black Knight lately. I haven't seen him lately. He was here couple of weeks ago. He popped in and said hi. Now, sometimes, they may, people may lurk and not say anything, which is fine. Hey, Lisa Joe, good to see you, ma'am. Our resident troublemaker is here. Our Spice Girl. It's good to see you, ma'am. I'm glad you could make it. Okay, so Lisa Joe says Blaine is a suburb of Minneapolis. Thank you, ma'am. I was wondering, especially when it said the Blaine Police Department was the contact department. All right. I should know these things because, Echoes and Mrs. Echoes live up in that area, but I don't know all the suburbs. That is true. Avery says women do not leave child support checks uncashed. Yeah, that's why between when they found the truck or whatever it was, the vehicle at the Greyhound bus station, and they had the uncashed paychecks, uncashed child support checks. The seat was pushed all the way back. She was, her sister says she was just 5 foot something. I'm 5'4", 5'3", 5'3.5", and I pull, like I said, if you're that short, 5 foot something, you're going to have that seat. It's not going to be all the way to the back, pushed all the way back. I can tell you that much. So yeah, that's definitely red flags for me. Yeah, Lisa Joe says no one leaves any checks uncashed. Yeah, especially if you're going off on your own accord, to wherever, start a new life for whatever reason. You got to have some money to go. So yeah, you would definitely take those checks and get them cash, so you would have some money to go. Let me see. Chris says preach, Avery and Lisa Joe. Miss Paula wants to know any suspects. None that they have named. I don't know about the ex-husband. It didn't say that he was a person of interest or a suspect. It didn't name any persons of interest or suspects. Excuse me. So I don't know. They're always going to look, obviously, we know they're always going to look at the people closest to the missing person. So I'm sure they looked at, at least interviewed the ex-husband. Maybe they didn't, ruled him out. Maybe he had an alibi. They don't suspect him. But apparently they don't, they don't have any, well, I'm not going to say that. If they do have any suspects or persons of interest, they haven't named them publicly. So, I don't know. Yep. Also a paycheck and child support checks. Lisa Joe says at least they're willing. So yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, Avery said 25 is so young to get custody. Talking about the sister, Wendy was 25 when she got custody of the 5-year-old Tammy's 5-year-old son. Avery says something must be up with the dad. Yeah, that seemed weird to me. Why the ex-husband wouldn't or didn't or wouldn't get custody. Like I said, either he didn't want custody or there was something up, and they thought a 25-year-old, because 25 is young. I mean, it's not 25 is young. And I think I did come across a couple of articles, but I use this one because I had the most information and the most, statements from the family, from the sister. But in one of the other articles I read, yeah, it said, it was really hard to get custody of her nephew at 25, but she was obviously willing to do it. So yeah, I don't know what was up with the dad that he didn't get custody. It would be interesting to know. Oh man. Lisa Joe says, I got custody of my younger sister when I was 18. Man, that must have been really, really hard. Bless your heart, and God bless you for doing that. Yeah, Lisa Joe says maybe he just didn't think he could manage everything. Yeah, that could also be true. That could be true. Yep, Avery says I was still in high school at 18. Yep. Oh, I knew that you were up in Minnesota. You're in Duluth now, right, Lisa Joe? But Lisa Joe says she grew up in St. Paul. Mm. Avery says very much sounds set up. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, could have been, could have been somebody from her work. I mean, who knows? Oh, so Avery, I'm gonna have to Google that. It says Google tip leads to new search for remains of missing Blaine woman 2024. All right, hold on, give me a second. Let me see if I can find that. Bear with me. Oh my goodness, my nose is itching. Make sure I'm putting. Oh goodness gracious! Oh, I was putting the wrong name. Um. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Investigators. I'll try to see if it'll let me screen share. Let me see if it's going to come up. There it is. Give me 1 second. This is from April of 2024. Is that about the time frame of the one you found, Avery? Or is there a newer one? Okay. Let me see if it'll let me screen share. Let me take this down. Bear with me 1 second. It may take a minute for it to pop up. Or 2 minutes. Come on. Are you going to come up or not? There it comes. All right, so this is from CBSnews.com from April 22nd, 2024. Investigators search Blaine Park for remains of Tamara Bradley, missing since 1994. So the search for a Minnesota woman who went missing nearly 30 years ago has been renewed following a tip about where her remains may be buried. Tamara Colleen Bradley, 30, was last seen leaving her job on September 30th, 1994. According to the Blaine Police Department, her vehicle was eventually discovered at the Minneapolis Greyhound bus station. And there's another picture of Tamara. Police say Bradley's case has remained open ever since and has been re-examined multiple times. But a recent tip, I wonder where the tip came from, pointed investigators toward the north portion of Laddie Lake Park near 89th Avenue Northeast. A search crew composed of Blaine detectives, members of the Anoka County Crime Scene Unit, and agents with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension began searching the area Monday morning. Police say no trace of Bradley had been found as of noon, but the search continues. So I wonder where this tip came from, if it was anonymous. Obviously, it's probably anonymous. I'm assuming. I might say obviously. I'm assuming it was anonymous. See, that makes me wonder. I mean, who was it? Ex-husband? Was it somebody from work? Just a stranger? I mean, I don't know. This one has me confounded. Usually when I go through these, I can kind of maybe have a little bit of idea of maybe what happened, but on this one, I have no clue. I have no clue. All right. Stop sharing that. Thank you, Avery, for sending me or telling me about that. Yes, Avery says it's good that tips are still coming in. Absolutely. After how many, 30 plus years? Because that article or that tip came in 2000, just a couple of years ago, 2024. She went missing in 94. So, yes, absolutely. Mustang says, please do all the things. Yeah, Avery says, someone knows something. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Avery says, of course, I'm always Googling when you're discussing. Absolutely. And I appreciate that because sometimes I miss things when I'm researching and, when I'm Googling, looking for articles and info on these cases. Sometimes I miss things. And obviously I missed that because I did not see that. All right. So next we have Victoria Jane. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his last name right. Owczynsky. I'm going to go with that. Let me get her information. All right. So Victoria has been missing since August 26th of 1990 from Minneapolis. She is a white female. She was just 17 years old when she went missing. She'll be 53 years old as of 2026. When she went missing, she was 5 foot tall, 110 pounds. So another tiny, tiny girl. She had brown hair and brown eyes. Her nickname is Vicky. Her hair was highlighted at the time of her disappearance, and she has a birthmark under her left eye. We have less known clothing. But Vicky was last seen on August 26, 1990 at her residence in the vicinity of the 1800 block of University Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis. She was living with a girlfriend in the northeast part of the city at the time, 4 blocks from her own mother's home. She had moved in with her friend a month before her disappearance, and she was about to enter her senior year at Minneapolis Edison High School. Vicky was supposed to meet a girlfriend at a Minneapolis park at noon on the day of her disappearance, and she was also supposed to stop by her mother's home. She never arrived at either place, and she was last seen in the company of the father of the family that she was living with. So keep that in mind. So witnesses say they saw Vicky leave her home with him in his pickup truck. She may have asked him for a ride to the park to go see her friend. Vicky believes that this man was involved in Vicky's disappearance 2 years before. He had been accused of essaying his daughters. No charges were filed. I don't know why no charges were filed, but he was ordered to move out of the house. So maybe they couldn't really prove enough proof of the SA to charge him with anything. So this individual who was, what did it say, the father of the girl that she was living with, he did admit to having spoken to Vicki on the day of her disappearance, but he did deny that she had ever been in his truck. He has never been charged in connection with her case. She did leave behind her cigarettes, jewelry, clothing, all of her money when she went missing, all the things that especially a 17-year-old would take with them if they were going to leave of their own accord. Just saying. Authorities do not believe that she left of her own accord. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance. Her mother is still alive, but in very poor health, and continues to hope for closure in her daughter's disappearance. So if you do have any information, you can call the Minneapolis PD at 612-673-2941. So yeah, so it was, let me go back and read it again. Where was it at? It was the dad. Was it the dad of the, okay. So it was the father of the family that she was living with. So she wasn't living with her mom. Apparently she was living, so she was living with one of her girlfriends, one of her friends. So maybe with the family, but the father apparently wasn't there because he had been, after he was accused of the SA charge, or the SA of his daughters, he was told he had to leave the house. So I wonder why she wasn't living with her mom. Anyway, let me see what I was able to find on her. I think I was just able to find a clip of an article that somebody had posted on Web Sleuths. Okay, there it is. So somebody posted this on Web Sleuths in November 2024. The article is from November of 1991. Wait a minute, does that make sense? 1991? Oh yeah, okay. So I was thinking 94 she disappeared, but 90. So Minneapolis case of missing woman frustrates police. Minneapolis police have grim suspicions about what happened to 17-year-old Victorie Owczynsky when she disappeared more than a year ago, but they can't say for sure. All that is certain is that she never showed up at a park at Garfield Street and 18th Avenue Northeast, where she had agreed to meet her girlfriend at noon on August 26, 1990. Since her disappearance, there's been no sign that she's still alive, no sightings, no phone calls to friends or family, no applications bearing her social security number, but there's also been no evidence to prove that she is not deceased. Nonetheless, police are suspicious. Well, yeah, I would be. I'm suspicious of this father, this guy here, that she was allegedly seen getting into his truck. Sergeant John Body, who is one of the investigators in the case, said, quote, she left behind her clothing. She left behind the small amount of money she had. She left behind her cigarettes and jewelry. She never said anything about leaving. She agreed to meet her friend at the park. All those things put together, that is not somebody who elected to be gone, end quote. I wholeheartedly agree. He went on to say, quote, we treat it as a missing persons case, but basically what we're talking about is a potential homicide, end quote. It says they even have a suspect, but without a body, there is no crime. The uncertainty has prolonged her family's agony. Her father, Eugene, said, quote, I feel like I'm in limbo. It eats away at me. No matter where I go, I still keep my eyes open, thinking maybe I will see her, end quote. Vicki had been living with a girlfriend in northeast Minneapolis when she disappeared. She had moved to the house, which was 4 blocks from her mother's, about a month earlier. When she woke up on August 26th, other members of the bustling household were filing out to church. At 9:45, Vicki called her mother and said that she would stop by about noon. About 15 minutes later, she had a three-way phone conversation with her boyfriend, who was in Ramsey County Jail, and a girlfriend who she agreed to meet at the park at noon. She said that she had just stepped out of the bath and needed to dress and fix her hair. While she was still talking to her girlfriend, Vicki abruptly began laughing. She explained that a man had just walked in with two black eyes and that he looked funny. And this was the father of the family that she was living with. So he just walked in on her after she got out of the shower. But I mean, she was living, but I thought he wasn't supposed to be in the house. So it was the father of the family she was living with who had been ordered out of the house by Hennepin County 2 years earlier after being accused of SAing his daughters. Vicki then called her stepfather and asked for a ride to the park, but he said he was busy painting a neighbor's house. And then apparently he heard her ask someone in the house for a ride. About 10:30 a.m., two neighbors saw Vicki leave in a pickup truck with a man who had appeared at the house during the phone conversation. About 20 minutes later, the man returned to the house, they said, and began unloading scrap metal from the truck, but Vicki never arrived at the park or at her mother's. Very red flaggy. The next day, police took a report from her mother, Lorraine Larson. Larson and her father, Eugene, told police that their daughter would not leave without calling them. Family members and friends said that Vicki, who was a student at Edison High, seemed relatively happy. Family members peppered the neighborhood with flyers carrying a picture and description of Vicki, but no one called with any clues. The case was referred to Sergeant Dayton Dunn of the Minneapolis PD Juvenile Division. He interviewed neighbors, family members, and friends. He spoke with a man who neighbors say Vicki left with, ordered a search of his truck and apartment in a building that he manages. So the man acknowledged once again that he had seen Vicki and that they had talked outside, but says that she was never in his pickup. So he didn't tell them that he was inside the house, allegedly. So after that, the case remained opened as an unsolved missing persons report. Every month or so, Dunn would make the rounds, checking for developments, but none surfaced. When Vicki's 18th birthday passed in April, the case was turned over to Body and Sergeant Ron Audison in the 2nd Precinct's Property Crimes Unit, which handles reports of missing adults. Why would a property crimes unit handle reports of missing persons? So Body said, quote, in talking with Sergeant Dunn, we came up with the same conclusion he did, that we probably got a victim of a homicide and there's one suspect we can't eliminate. Let me guess who that suspect most likely is. So the primary suspect, the man who was last seen with Vicki, was convicted of assaulting. So I wonder if this is the father, or not her father, the father of the family. So the man who was last seen with Vicki was convicted of assaulting a 27-year-old woman in the course of an intimate encounter in 1977. Okay, so it wouldn't. So that was in 77. But in searching his pickup, that's got to be the same one though. But in searching his pickup and apartment, Body and Audison found scant evidence to prove what they believe. Only a photograph of Vicki's boyfriend and a necklace. So why? Okay. So why would this father of the friend that she was living with have a picture of her boyfriend, Vicki's boyfriend, and a necklace? And did the necklace belong to Vicki? Those are the questions I have. I just have questions. They also took samples of duct tape, and nylon tape. The investigators said the case illustrates perils in the police department's system for dealing with missing people. For one thing, they say, with the exception of cases that appear particularly unusual or urgent, a 24-hour wait is required. That is not true. Before anyone can file a report. Who said this? So Body said, quote, if you report your TV is missing, we take the report right away. Why wait on a missing person? Why not take the report right away? You can. You don't have to wait. I don't know why they keep saying you have to wait. He goes on to say, then, if something's wrong, at least you've got to start in case, or in quote. In cases that involve foul play, the delay can leave investigators with no crime scene and witnesses with fading memories. Well, duh. Most missing persons calls to police result in a cursory round of phone calls and a report for the files. Only those that appear suspicious are investigated extensively at the outset. In the Owczynsky case, Dunn suspected trouble and pursued the case aggressively. Even so, Body said he wishes more police resources had been devoted to the case sooner. Well, yeah. Deputy Chief David Dubrotka said it is a question of where to invest officers' time, an increasingly precious resource. 90 to 95% of the 336 reports of missing adults in Minnesota that year, what year did I say this was? Posted or from 1991. Sorry, I lost my place. So 90 to 95% of the 336 reports of missing adults in Minneapolis in 1991 proved unfounded. The juvenile division receives about 275 reports of missing children a month. Only 8 of the children reported missing since January of 1990 are still considered missing, and none is believed a victim of foul play, according to officials. Dubrotka said, citing the continued rise of violent crime, quote, just how much time and energy are you going to expand on things like this? Well, if you're talking about how old was she? 17? Was she 17? Let me go back. 17-year-old missing girl under suspicious, definitely suspicious circumstances. I think you would devote some time to it. So Body recognizes the pressure, but said that he thinks missing person investigations are worth the time. He said, quote, what about those 1 or 2 times that should have been looked into right away, end quote. Exactly. He goes on to say, quote, maybe they'll come home, maybe they won't. Which way do you want to err, end quote. I would want to err on the side of investigating. I truly understand that, there are, time constraint or, not enough officers to go around sometimes. And you do have to pick and it's horrible to say pick and choose, but come on. Anyway, so I think that is all. Let me just make sure there wasn't anything else in here. So I'm assuming that this man who they said had been accused of assaulting a 27-year-old woman in the course of an intimate encounter in 1977 was the same, the father of the family, who was also accused of essaying his daughters. So if it's the same person, clearly he's got a history, alleged history of some bad things. Anyway, let me get into your comments. Ooh, a bunch of them popped up. Okay. Mustang says she uses Bing. I try to use Bing. I don't like Bing. I use it sometimes. I use Google for the most part. Lisa Joe, what area? Okay, so Lisa Joe says that's not a good area. Are you talking about the area she lived in, or the area that the park that she was going to, or supposed to meet her friend at? Yep, Mustang's got her red flags. Yep, she was tiny, 5 foot, 110 pounds. Yes, definitely had the 80s hair going on. I had some big hair in the 80s and 90s. Oh goodness. Yep. Aquanet. Avery said Aquanet hairspray. Man, I think I was one of the ones who helped keep Aquanet in business back in the day. Junior's back. Welcome back, Junior. I'll use that too. Hair gel. Mustang said LA Looks hair gel was my thing. I used hair gel too. I used everything. Oh God, I used the hair gel, the Aquanet, the curler, the crimpers, the hot. You remember the hot curlers? I can't think of the exact name of them now, but they were literally curlers that came in a little box and they heated up and you put them in your hair. I had those. I had a crimper. I had everything. Anyway. Oh my goodness. Echoes is in the house. And of course he says, what's the old woman doing? Old woman doing up past her bedtime. Don't ask me. It just past my bedtime. I think you're up past your bedtime too, sir. You're not that far behind me, remember? Yes, I should have taken my vitamins and gone to bed by now. I will probably be going to bed shortly after we are done here. Who's hidden? Wait a minute. Mustang said JP. Oh, JP said he's hidden. He tried to come back. I haven't hidden him. If somebody can figure out, I don't even know where to go to see if somebody's hidden and how to unhide them. I haven't hidden anybody. It could have been somebody. I mean, it could have been done by accident. I haven't hidden him. Poor JP. If anybody know Mustang or anybody with a wrench, if you can figure out if just to look to see if JP is hidden, I don't know why he would be. See if we can find JP and get him unhidden if he's hidden. Oh, Echo. Lisa Joe says Echoes is going to slap me. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time. Yeah. No, I don't think he's going to do that. Chris said, Echoes, please behave towards your sister. Yeah. Yeah, he says, why should I start now? I'm too old to change. See, you admit you're old too. Oh, goodness. Avery says she's taking her vitamins and crawling into bed. I know. Lisa Joe says back when they really pushed that wait period. I know. And I know they did it more back in the day. Hopefully they don't do it as much these days. But yeah, that 24-hour waiting period just drives me crazy. Echo says Farmville. Yeah, Lisa Joe says all waiting does is allow the offender a big head start. That is true. That is true. Absolutely. Miss Paula says prayers. Avery says it's ironic how it went from wait 48 hours to the first 48 hours. Yeah. Yeah, it's they say, you know, what the first 48 hours is the most critical. Let's see. Yep, Avery says the first 48 hours are the most crucial. Actually, the first 24 hours. Exactly. Oh, well, that was nice. Miss Paula said her nephew put in her AC today. Excellent. That's a good nephew. Mustang's going to be right back. Maybe she's going to try to find out or figure out how to unhide JP. What area was it? Blaine, which Lisa Joe said Blaine was you probably know, Blaine is a suburb of Minneapolis. That is where she disappeared. Well, she disappeared from Minneapolis, but the Blaine area, Blaine suburb. Yes, I did have the crimper. I admit it. I admit it. I had the crimper. Ooh, Junior said in the 70s his hair was past his shoulders. Junior was a wild man. Lisa Joe says Caruso steamrollers. Yeah, they were called like hot rollers or hot curlers. I had a pink set. You had this little neat little box, and you open the box, and they had like the steel rods, and the curlers were there, and you plugged it up, and you heated it up, and then you put the curlers in your hair. I'm sure I probably still have it around here somewhere. Okay. Mustang says, I think you have to check from your studio. Okay, I will definitely check. I can't do it now, but man, I hate that. I don't know how he would have got hidden unless it was accidental. But I will definitely check on it. I apologize. JP, if you're listening, I apologize. Ooh, Junior said he's going to make a root beer float. We used to have Coke floats when we were kids. I never really liked root beer that much. Okay, Lisa Joe says the area for this case is University Avenue, which isn't a good area anywhere the whole way. Okay, so Echoes says, I mean, Blaine isn't horrible, but I still prefer the South Metro. And he says University is not good. Hey, UCC, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Says we used to refill my dad's pump bottle of consort hairspray for men with unscented Miss Breck, and he never guessed. Oh goodness. Oh, was it the previous case that she was? Oh yeah, it was Tamara's case was from Blaine. Sorry, I'm getting my cases mixed up. I blame it on my old age. All right, so next we have Cornelius Day. Now, the only information I was able to find on him was just the Charley Project information, but it is better than nothing, so we'll go with that. So this is Cornelius Manelik Day. He's been missing since April 1st, 2007 from Minneapolis. He's a black male. He was 40 years old when he went missing. He will be 59 years old as of 2026. When he went missing, he was 5'9", 170 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. It says he has a tattoo of a leopard on his upper left arm and a tattoo of his initials, CD, on his right wrist. And it does not give last known clothing. Just says that he was last seen in Minneapolis on April 1st, 2007. He's never been seen or heard from again, and few details are available in his case. So that's it. But we got his picture, we got his vitals. I will try to find, if I can't find a missing, I don't even think I was able to find a missing persons poster. But I will put a picture and all the information from the Charley Project or NamUs if he's on NamUs or Doe Network. I will put it on my Facebook and my community tab here on YouTube. Hopefully I can find a missing persons flyer. All right, so next we have Laurie Feiner. Hold on, let me get. Are you talking about for Cornelius's case? Lisa Jo says there's nothing available. You should try to. Oh, Lisa Jo made a flyer. Ooh, can you post it somewhere so I can borrow it? Lisa Jo says I made a flyer for him on my Minnesota missing page. Is that on Facebook? That I haven't really used in a long time. Send it to me if you can on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and I will I will share it on Facebook. I will share it here on YouTube. Thank you very much. Please and thank you. Avery said, well, ish. I got all comfy in bed and have to get back up for vitamins. Thank you. Lisa Jo says she will send it. Thank you, ma'am. I will get it posted. Oh, I understand that. UCC says, been lurking and listening whilst pretending to nap. Just snuck to the bathroom to say hi. Caregiving can be weird. Oh, yeah, I did home health caregiving for 10 years. Tiptoeing back to the recliner to lurk some more. All right, we'll be quiet. We'll try to be quiet. Oh, all right. So next we have Laurie Feiner. Let me get a drink right quick. I feel like my voice is going. So Laurie, I'm knocking stuff over. Laurie has been missing since May 9th, 1992 from St. Paul, Minnesota. She is a white female. She was 29 years old when she went missing. She'll be 63 years old as of 2026. At the time she went missing, she was 5'5" and 100, excuse me, and 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes, and her ears are pierced. Last known clothing was a white men's t-shirt and blue jeans. And it said that she did have an alcohol problem in 1992 when she disappeared. So Laurie resided in Oakdale, Minnesota with her brother. Now, somebody will have to tell me how far away Oakdale is. It a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul? But she resided in Oakdale with her brother. She received a ride to a friend's home in St. Paul on May 8th of 1992. She stopped at Chuck's Bar on Payne Avenue in St. Paul during the evening hours. Echoes, do you know where Chuck's Bar is? Is it still there? So witnesses told authorities that she had danced with 3 men at the establishment early in the morning on May 9th. She was last seen speaking to one of the men outside of the building at around 1 a.m. She never returned to her residence after that. She has not been seen or heard from again. Her brother reported her missing on May 12th. So he waited 3 days, which I mean, they lived together, but I mean, it may have been that she would go out and not come home for 2 or 3 days. So maybe he didn't think anything of it. So her family members said that it is uncharacteristic of her to leave without warning. So that answers that question. She and her former husband divorced earlier in 1992 and shared custody of their 2 children. Authorities identified the 3 men who had contact with her at Chuck's Bar shortly before she vanished. These men were described as construction workers, and all of them denied involvement in her case. So apparently 2 of the individuals provided alibis for their whereabouts after departing from the bar. The 3rd man, however, was unable to account for his time afterwards. So red flag there. So Laurie did not have any money or extra clothes with her when she disappeared. Authorities believe that foul play was involved in her disappearance, and they are investigating her case as a probable homicide. No arrests have been made in the connection with her case, which remains unsolved. So it's interesting that 2 of the men that she was seen talking to provided alibis. A 3rd was unable to account for his time afterwards. Could be something, could be nothing. But if you have any information, you can call the Oakdale PD at 651-738-1022. And let me see what I was able to find on her. Oh, Lord. I got to perform a security check on me. Come on. Oh, my verification was successful. All right. Let's see. So I think this is basically has the same information. Hold on. Okay, so that's from the Charley Project. 1 second. Oh my gosh. The computer is moving so slow. Okay, so on May 8th, 1992, Laurie Feiner went out for the evening with a group of friends. She received a ride from a co-worker to a friend's house in St. Paul. The group was last seen at Chuck's Bar in St. Paul on Payne Avenue. Laurie left the bar at approximately 1 a.m. on May 9th. Individuals at Chuck's Bar stated that Laurie was seen drinking and dancing with 3 males that she met that evening. Neither Laurie nor the group she was with knew these individuals. Laurie was last seen outside the bar talking to one of the unknown males that she was dancing with. So we already went over that. On May 12th, 1992, Michael Lundquist reported his sister missing to the Oakdale Police Department. Michael was living with his sister at the time of the report in Oakdale. He stated that he had last talked with Laurie on the morning of May 8th, 1992 during breakfast. He returned to the residence on May 10th, but did not see Laurie. He received a call from a friend of Laurie. She stated that Laurie did not show for a birthday party. Friends and family did a poster drop near Chuck's Bar and the surrounding neighborhood during the week of May 12th, 1992. The Oakdale PD conducted an investigation, interviewing family, friends, and several individuals that she was with and met at Chuck's Bar during the night of her disappearance. Laurie's last reported contact is May 9th, 1992 at 1 a.m. The 3 unknown males at Chuck's Bar have been identified and interviewed by the Oakdale PD. Each acknowledged contact with Laurie at Chuck's Bar on May 8th, 1992, but deny involvement in her disappearance. 2 of these males provided an alibi for their time after leaving the bar. The third male cannot account for portions of his time after leaving the bar. Friends and family describe Laurie as a nice person. However, they say that she did have a drinking problem. She was recently divorced. Prior to her disappearance, she shared custody with her of her 2 children. At the time, her children, well, at the time of this article, I don't know if it said when it was. At the time of this article, her children were, dang it, I lost my place again. 16 and 18. Her daughter lives with her father in St. Paul, and her son lives with his grandmother in northern Minnesota. The Oakdale PD found no reason that Laurie would leave home, her home children, or work. She does not have a history of disappearing for extended periods of time. And the police department, once again, is treating this case as a homicide. The Oakdale PD has conducted extensive interviews of people in the area of Chuck's Bar, coworkers, acquaintances, family, friends. Oh, stop it with the ads. They followed up on all leads. It says we're looking for help from the community. Stop. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it was just given the information. It says we're looking for help from the community in identifying additional leads. Anyone having knowledge of Laurie and her disappearance, please call the Oakdale PD at 651-738-1022. Regardless as to how insignificant you feel your information is to this case, we ask that you call. Absolutely. We always say it, no bit of information is ever too small, especially in these cold cases. So it's just a little bit of additional information. I think that was all I had. So I don't know. My what? My browser did not lose connection, or it probably did, but anyway. I don't know. I will be hopefully they really checked out this third male that couldn't account for his time. I don't know. Or maybe they did, and I don't know. I don't know how you wouldn't be able to account for your time unless he had a little bit too much to drink and just couldn't remember, which is entirely possible. What? Oh, Lisa Joe says, I just realized I never added the MSPD number. Oh, to the poster. Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. I will. Okay, so Echo says, what was it? Oakdale is a suburb of St. Paul. Thank you very much. Lisa Jo concurs. And going back to the other case, come on. Lisa Jo said Payne is the east side of St. Paul. Echoes doesn't know Chuck's Bar. Is Matt still there where you get the Juicy Lucy? Oh my God, have you ever been up there to get a Juicy Lucy? Oh my God, they're the best things in the world. Avery says she doesn't know Minnesota at all. Lisa Jo, you talking about Oakdale? Lisa Jo says that's also not a great area. Yes, we do have two expert. Echo says you have two Minnesota experts in chat. Yes, you and Miss Lisa Jo. Avery says she has a friend that lives in Albertsville. I do not know where in Minnesota Albertsville is. Oh, really? Echo says Albertville is home of the Dirt Mall in Mallrats. Oh my God, it's been so long since I watched that movie. I love that movie. Oh, I'm sure Avery says I'm not even sure where Albertsville is. I'm sure either or both Echoes and Lisa Jo could probably tell you. Okay, so it is, according to Echoes, northwest of the cities, heading towards Fargo. See, now I'm going to watch Fargo. I haven't watched Fargo in a long time. Oh yeah, that's a good. Mustang asked where Josh was. I know he's been posting on Facebook. I think he's been taking a break, and he has been. Well, he said, and he did message me on Facebook Messenger the other day when I was sick to check, see if I was feeling better. And he said that he had been busy work and some stuff. So he's around. He's just been busy, but I do miss him. We do miss our Josh the Posh. Please do check out Where Lavender Grows is Josh's channel. I know he hasn't done. He usually does his live streams on Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Central. But I know the last couple of Sundays he's been busy and hasn't done his live streams. But he said he will be back. Junior wants to know, is anyone else going to Delphi this weekend? They're having a walk for Abby and Libby. Excellent. Are you going, Junior? Well, yeah, I'm assuming you are. He says, is anyone else going? Yeah, Avery says, now I have to watch Mallrats. I know it's been so long since I watched any Kevin Smith movies. Echoes says the main mall scenes were filmed at the Eden Prairie Center, the place where the Albertsville scenes were filmed isn't there anymore. Also, Mallrats is funny. Yes, it absolutely is. Any Kevin Smith movie is funny. Lisa Jo says she doesn't believe Chuck's Bar is still there. At least you watched it. So Avery said, I've heard of the movie, but never did watch it. You need to watch Mallrats. Watch Pet Cemetery, the original one. The original one, I'm hoping. It says, watch Pet Cemetery for the first time the other day, only because someone said this stray I feed looks like Church. Yeah, if it's a black cat. I'm hoping you watch the original Pet Cemetery. Because I'm pretty sure they did a remake of it. But watch the original if you haven't. Oh, excellent. So Avery did name the stray cat Church. Miss Paula wants to know what, talking about Laurie, says, was she an alcohol? It says, yeah, well, it said she had problems with alcohol. So, well, that's horrible, Mustang. People, why can't people just mind their own business? If you go by yourself, Mustang, be careful. We'll have to send Mr. Steve out looking for you. Oh, good. Echo says Matt's is still there. Lisa Joe says Payne Avenue isn't a great area. Really, I might have to. Avery says they have a lot of Jane Does in Minnesota. I just came across that. Ooh, I might have to do a live stream of some Jane Does in Minnesota, because I do also hear or share here Jane Does, John Does, and unfortunately baby does. So I might have to look into that. No, what is that about? Avery says, did y'all watch the Crash on Netflix yet? Mackenzie Sharilla documentary? No, what's it about? I will check it out. So Junior will be at the walk. Excellent, but you be careful also, Junior. Hey, Boston Christian. Oh, where you at? There you are. Oh, get back there. Good to have you here. Glad you could make it. Yes, good. You watched the original. Avery watched the original. And now she's side-eyeing the straight. Yeah, I'm telling you. That is, I've watched so many. Of course, I'm a horror fan, horror genre fan, movies, books, whatever, TV shows. And I've watched Pet Cemetery probably a million times. Not that many, but a lot. And that is one that does creep me out. There are very few horror movies that do creep me out, but that is one of them that can still creep me out. Oh, there's Miss Farr. She chimed in. She said the original Pet Cemetery was the best. Absolutely. Yeah. Lisa Joe says the cat was the least bad entity in that movie. I know, you had the Gage. I'm telling you, that poor little baby was. Don't want to ruin anything for anybody who hasn't seen it, but yeah, Gage was a bad little boy. Not his fault, but I don't know. Who do you blame in that? Oh, we could get into some discussions about that, psychological discussions. Who was really the bad? Was it the dad for burying in the cemetery? I don't know. So Lisa Joe says she inquired about a lot of the does. They wouldn't say much. Well, why not? Oh, sorry. Bunch of comments popped up. Hold on. Miss Paula says, is it possible that she'd been drinking the day she disappeared? I'm gonna say probably, maybe, because she did disappear. Let me make sure I'm not getting my cases mixed up. She disappeared from the bar. Yeah, she disappeared from Chuck's bar. So I'm just going to assume now. I don't want to assume, but I'm just going to go say she probably, a good possibility that she probably had been drinking. I'll just put it that way. Absolutely. Well, yeah, Lisa Jo says she was drinking the day she disappeared. Oh goodness, I haven't. How come I haven't heard of that? Avery said Mackenzie Sharilla is the one who intentionally drove into a brick building at 100 miles an hour, taking the lives of 2 people. Wow. Or maybe I've heard of it and just kind of forgot. I will definitely check that out. Avery said Pet Cemetery creeped her out. Yeah. Lisa Jo says, I watched it when I was a kid and I got so scared my babysitter said to turn it off. I didn't realize that was an option. Oh, goodness. Let me see. Let me get caught up and we'll get on to the next one. Really? Okay, so Avery said, I'm seeing they have a Jane Doe they think matches Laurie, but then it trails off. Man, I'm gonna have to look into that. Because usually, let me see, did I have? No, that was because usually, and I don't know if I was able to find a web sleuth thread, because usually if they have a web sleuth thread, it will, people will put matches and exclusions for does for certain, for whoever they're talking about, whatever missing they're talking about. Oh, the old man's got to go to bed. Echo says, okay, everybody, I'm out for the night. Have a good night. Thank you for being here, Bubba. I appreciate it. I love you and Mrs. Echoes. Hugs to both of you and the new grandpa. Yeah, remember, guys, I told y'all to call Echoes grandpa when you saw him. He became a grandpa again for what, the 4th time? So he's got a new grandbaby. He and Mrs. Echoes have a new grandbaby to spoil. Everybody's saying good night. Yep, this is true, Miss Paula. Paula said the first thing that goes when you're drunk is your judgment. That is absolutely true. Absolutely true, unfortunately. Avery says, why so many Jane Does? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. Boston wanted to know if the walk for Abby and Libby is Saturday or Sunday. Mustang says everybody's saying congratulations to Gramps. Really, I didn't know that. So Avery says, you know that forensic DNA company Othram. Yes, we know Othram. They do a lot of the genetic genealogy in these cold cases. Purchase web sleuths. I did not know that. I expect huge things coming soon there. That would be excellent. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Othram does a lot of good work. Yep, that is true also. Miss Paula says she could have taken off with the wrong person. Yeah, I'm wondering if she may have taken off with that third man that couldn't come up with an alibi for what happened after he left the bar that night. Lisa Jo says when she drinks, the first thing that goes is her volume control. I don't remember if, of course, I hardly drink anymore. I'm too old for the hangovers. I don't think I was allowed when I drank back in the day. I don't think I was allowed, but then again, I don't remember. This could be true. Chris says, I bet I know why there are so many Jane Does. It's probably because they aren't reported. That could be true. Lisa Jo says she's still hungover from 4 Halloweens ago. Yeah, Miss Vala says, which volume control, voice or TV? With Lisa Jo, I'm going to guess a voice. All right. All right, so next we have, I think we have two more left. We have Hong Lee. Let me get her information. And another drink. So Hong has been missing since January 12th, 1993 from St. Paul. She is an Asian female. She was just 17 years old when she went missing. She will be 50 years old as of 2026. Another tiny, tiny one. When she went missing, she was 5 foot tall, 90 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. She is of Laotian or Laotian. I know Laos. She is Hmong, of Hmong descent. She speaks both English and Hmong. Her bangs were dyed red at the time of her disappearance. She was last known to be wearing a lightweight black leather jacket, a black t-shirt with Skid Row. Hey, I probably have that t-shirt with Skid Row, which was a hair metal band back in the day. Written on the back, black jeans or slacks, sneakers, and several pieces of jewelry, including 2 silver bracelets. I'm assuming there's a vehicle that also is not accounted for. But Hong was last seen leaving her family's residence in St. Paul on January 12th, 1993. She left home between 6 and 7 p.m. with an 18-year-old friend named Kia Nikki Lee, who is no relation to her. Kia returned home shortly alone. That should have been returned home alone shortly afterwards. Sometimes these things are written so bad. So Hong's parents, who are refugees from Laos and did not speak English at the time, reported her as a missing person to authorities. A few days later, she left behind all her clothing, her college savings, a $100 paycheck, and her purse. Once again, especially a 17-year-old's not going to leave all that behind. Her purse apparently contained a knife and a lead ball for personal protection. So just prior to leaving home, she had told her younger brother, quote, "If I don't come back, come and look for me," end quote. So that's concerning, obviously. Nikki, the friend, initially told authorities that Hong had left with some unidentified young men. She later changed her story and said that Hong had gone to a job interview with Nikki's own employer, Mark Stephen Wallace, and I believe the smaller picture there on the slide is Mr. Wallace. So that was Nikki's employer, Mark Stephen Wallace. He had a small painting and carpentry business on Iroquois Avenue. So Wallace had asked her if she had any friends who might want to work for him. And she referred Hong to him because Hong was looking for a new job, but she thought his request was odd because he did not have enough work to take on another employee. She said that she had lied earlier because she believed that Hong had run away and wanted to protect her, and also because her boss had told her not to tell anyone what really happened. Everyone get your red flags out. So Nikki stated that she and Hong had gone to meet Wallace together. He was driving a white pickup truck at first, but later, for unclear reasons, he switched to a tan or silver 1988 Chevy Cavalier. So he dropped Nikki off and drove away with Hong in the front passenger seat of the Chevy, of the Cavalier. Well, this just gets creepier and creepier. So this is the last time that Nikki saw Hong. He was supposed to take her home. He later told police that he dropped her off at Rice Street and Wheelock Parkway near the Wong Cafe where she worked. Okay. So Wallace is the prime suspect, surprise, surprise, in Hong's disappearance. He has been convicted of 2 particularly violent essays committed in 1987 He is also a suspect in other SA crimes. He had lured one of his victims by promising a job interview. Does that sound familiar? He has been uncooperative with the investigation into Hong's disappearance. He has hired a lawyer. Nikki has also hired an attorney and stopped cooperating with police. Wallace has never been charged in connection with Hong's disappearance. Investigators searched his former home in 2009. They apparently drilled holes in his garage floor, but they didn't find anything. In 2016, he was charged with kidnapping, stalking, and possession of an illegal substance. So he was apparently caught in a hotel in Woodbury, Minnesota, with a 20-year-old woman who was the friend of one of his daughters. This is not a good dude, obviously. So the woman, apparently, that he was found in the motel room with was malnourished. She was bruised. So, sorry, trigger warning. She said that Wallace had held her against her will, verbally and physically abused her, threatened to take her life. The woman also said that Wallace told her that he had taken the life of a woman in St. Paul, telling her, quote, she entered my business and never came out, end quote. Oh, so Hong is described as a sweet, naive teenager. She wanted to become a writer. She enjoyed reading. She was a senior in high school. She planned to attend the University of Minnesota after graduating. Obviously, her case remains unsolved. Her father, unfortunately, passed away in 2012. But her mother and 13 siblings are all still alive and hope that she will come home. But foul play is suspected in her disappearance. So if you do have any information, we've got several phone numbers for St. Paul PD. 651-292-3646, 651-291-1111, and 651-292-3650. Yeah, so I don't like this, obviously, this Mr. Wallace fella. So I think I was able to find a couple of articles. So this first one is from May 2022. So Minnesota Unsolved, the St. Paul teen who never returned from a job interview. So on a snowy night in January of 1993, 17-year-old Hong Lee left her home in St. Paul's at McDonough Projects, giving her brother Kua these last words, quote, Kua said, quote, she said, if I don't come home, come and look for me because I don't trust Nikki, end quote. So Nikki was the friend. So she did not trust Nikki. So Kua said that his sister was referring to Nikki Lee, who once again is no relation, Hong's friend, who called that night saying that she would bring Hong to a job interview. I'm just going to say right now, this is just my opinion, that maybe possibly Nikki and Wallace could have been into this thing together. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's fact. So Kua went on to say, quote, that night, she never came home. There were footprints because of the fresh snow. There were no footprints. So I went to sleep. That was it until the next day, end quote. So the next day, Kua confronted Nikki at school as his sister cryptically suggested he should. He and his sister attended St. Paul Highland Park High School. But Kua found Nikki at Como Park High School where she was having breakfast in the cafeteria. So Kua said, quote, as soon as I showed, I say, hey, where's my sister? Just in a calm, nice way. And of course, she gets all mean about it. She said, she said, I don't know where your sister is. I don't know what you're talking about, end quote. And so began a nearly 30-year mystery of what happened to Hong Lee, a heavy metal loving high school senior who worked at Wong's Cafe Street. She was a child of Hmong refugee parents. She was a first-generation English speaker. She was influenced by American culture, and she planned on going to the University of Minnesota. Kua, who is Hong's closest sibling, said, quote, she's into cool style. We listen to heavy metal 80s music. She likes heavy metal music, Skid Row especially. And it says Kua still often refers to her in the present tense, even though she is presumed deceased. It just breaks my heart. So when Hong's family reported her missing, police once again assumed that she ran away. Hong had done that before, and investigators say her friend Nikki initially told them that she dropped Hong off with some of her friends and assumed that she had run off with them. Retired Sergeant Bill Snyder, who was one of the original investigators with St. Paul, said, quote, so basically nothing was done with the case for 6 months, end quote. 6 months they lost. Man. So Snyder said the case changed 6 months later when Hong's family started posting flyers, and her friend Nikki changed her story. So Nikki finally told police that on January 12th of 1993, she and Hong met up with a man who offered a job interview, Mark Stephen Wallace. Wallace had a small painting business on Iroquois Avenue and Stillwater Avenue in St. Paul. He apparently lived right above it. Nikki told police that Wallace dropped her off that night first, then drove away with Hong. So Snyder said, quote, at first it was a missing, now it's a, quote, missing with a person who's seen her last, end quote. And when police began looking into Wallace's background, they were disturbed by what they found. They found 2 RAPE convictions and several other allegations that were never charged. A pattern police thought of luring women with the offer of a job interview, then attacking them. So Snyder said, quote, the bottom line is obviously here is a serial predator offender. This is a constant pattern with him, end quote. So in June of 1993, police drew up search warrants for Wallace's home, office, and his truck, but Snyder knew police were at a big disadvantage. Snyder said, quote, they say the first 48 hours are critical. Now this is 6 months later. We had the crime lab go through it. They luminoled it. They searched it and found nothing in the car, end quote. Well, yeah, I mean, if he did something to her, he would have had time to clean it up. So Wallace Snyder said, without evidence and with Wallace denying involvement, police were stuck, end quote. He goes on to say, quote, we had no way to charge him with anything. We had no evidence, and he lawyered up, end quote. So the case went cold. 16 years later, in 2009, retired Sergeant Kevin Navarra from the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office reopened the case when he received a tip from a suspicious neighbor about a detached garage quickly built at Wallace's mother's home. Wallace grew up at the residence. He stayed with his mother there off and on in adulthood, and he inherited it after her death. And he built the detached garage in 2004. Navarra said, quote, the neighbor had never seen a structure go up that fast in his life, end quote. In 2009, after Wallace lost the home to foreclosure and was forced to vacate, Navarra brought cadaver dogs to the Maplewood garage, and he says that they smelled something. They hit on something. Navarra said, quote, it was pretty interesting to see those dogs go back and forth on that wall, and boom, got a hit, end quote. So 2 out of the 3 dogs indicated twice that they smelled something in the ground by the garage wall. But Navarra said before digging, they drilled holes in the concrete to give the dogs a better smell of what might be below. And then they said the dogs no longer showed interest. Navarra said, quote, certainly not enough to rip up someone's garage. That garage still bothers me a lot. I can't get around that, end quote. Retired Sergeants Navarra and Snyder both crossed paths with Wallace one last time. Wallace was nearing release on a 3-year sentence for kidnapping when a prosecutor filed a petition to have Wallace civilly committed at the Minnesota SA offender program in Moose Lake. So only 16 people civilly committed at MSOP to receive treatment have ever been fully discharged. Navarra and Snyder testified about everything they knew about the Hong Lee case, Wallace's convictions, plus other alleged uncharged offenses. Wallace has always denied any involvement with Hong Lee's disappearance, but the judge ruled that Wallace is, quote, a sexually dangerous person and a sexually psychopathic personality, end quote. And he won't get out of the Moose Lake facility unless he is rehabilitated, potentially, in essence, a life sentence. Yeah. In my opinion, for these kind of, like they said, psychopathic SA personality types, in my opinion, there's no rehabbing. Just my opinion. So KARE 11 reached Wallace's former employee and Hong Lee's friend Nikki Lee to inform her that Wallace is no longer a free man. Nikki replied, quote, great, he belongs there, end quote, but then she refused to answer any questions regarding Hong's case. I'm telling you, just my opinion, I think she has something to do with something. So Hong's brother Kua is still waiting for answers. The most important thing to him does not involve criminal charges. He said, quote, finding out what happened to my sister and recovering her body, if it's anywhere, it is more important to me, my mom, and my family, end quote. So Hong's family held a spirit release for Hong in 2017 after Wallace was arrested on his most recent kidnapping charge. With Wallace's freedom now taken away, Kua hopes that someone who may have been afraid to share information will come forward so his family can finally have a proper burial and closure. Yeah. I think little Miss Nikki needs to start talking. So St. Paul PD continues to investigate the disappearance of Hong. In October of 2021, they returned to the garage in Maplewood, where Wallace grew up and his mother lived until her death. There, they did some digging and took 3D imaging, but they did not find anything or evidence sufficient to make any arrest. Man. Yeah, this is just my opinion, and please let me know in chat or in comments if you're watching replay. I think little Miss Nikki knows more than she's saying. If she didn't have something to do with it, then she knows something. Just my opinion, once again. Now, let me see if I had anything else. I think I might have one. Oh, go to the right tab. Might have had one more little article. Let's see if it has any different information or statements from the family. This is from, if it doesn't throw me behind the paywall, this is from twincities.com. It's from January 2014, a mystery that tortures her family, a photo that haunts St. Paul police. So Kua Lee, who is her brother, was 15 when he last saw his sister, and she said the words that he has never forgotten. As Hong Lee walked out the door of their St. Paul home, Kua went to lock it behind her. His sister, then 17, turned back to her brother and said with a concerned face, Kua, if I don't come back, come and look for me. See, and I find it because it said in the, I think the article before, that she did not trust Nikki. So evidently she knew something about something, or just had some kind of reason not to trust her friend. quote unquote friend. So Hong obviously did not come back. Her family has spent 21 years more now. Oh, come on. Sorry, ads keep popping up. Her family has spent 21 years yearning to know what happened to her. The police investigation has focused on a convicted SO who is the last person seen with Hong, but he has never been arrested in the case. Police say that they are always looking for tips. Kua said, quote, "We think about her every day," end quote. His father passed away last year, going to his grave without answers about his daughter's disappearance. His mother still seeks some kind of closure. It says the Hong's case is one of St. Paul's oldest missing person cases. The vast majority of people reported missing. Apparently, there were 1,700 reports in St. Paul. What did I say? This article is from 2014. That year ended up returning home. The fact that Hong has not has stuck with with investigators. In the missing persons unit at the St. Paul PD, investigators have a daily reminder of Hong. Her photo is taped on the wall. Officer Benny Williams said, quote, "We look at it and it's like an incentive for us to figure this out. We look at it every day," end quote. Police have revisited the case at various times, and a trio of St. Paul police missing persons investigators, including Williams, have been spending time on it have been spending time on it in more recent years between their daily cases and other older cases. 21 years ago today, Mark Stephen Wallace allegedly met with Hong about hiring her to work for him. Wallace, then 30, was supposed to take Hong home, police say, but she never arrived. Of course, at the time this article was written, Mr. Wallace could not be reached for comment. So Hong Lee remains classified as a missing person because there is no proof of what happened to her, said Sergeant Paulos, who is a police spokesman. Police always hope that media attention on the case might bring forth information. Paulos said, quote, "After this amount of time, we hope that people might feel compassion to come forward and tell what happened. Any little tidbit of information could help," end quote. When Hong Lee disappeared, Wallace had been out of prison for about a year and a half after being convicted in 2 criminal SA cases. In one, so trigger warning, in one, Wallace was convicted of SAing a 16-year-old girl in Cottage Grove who had gone with him on the promise of a job interview. Definite trigger warning. He held a knife to her. He tied her up. He put duct tape over her eyes and mouth, according to the criminal complaint. And apparently he told her that he would take her life and her family if she said anything about what happened. Ooh, it's a good thing this guy is in this, the rehab or this facility they put him in. So in 1993, Hong Lee was a senior at Highland Park High School. She wanted to go to the University of Minnesota. She had started working as a cashier at Wong Cafe on Rice Street when she was just 13 years old, according to her brother. She had helped him get a dishwashing job at the restaurant. So on January 12th, 1993, the phone rang at the Lee home. Kua answered it. It was Nikki, the friend, an 18-year-old friend of Hong's. She and Hong talked, and Hong told her brother that she was going out with Nikki and was going to have a job interview with Nikki's boss. So it said that Hong was looking for an additional job because she wasn't making much money, and that she left the home at around 6 or 7 p.m. So Kua went to sleep about 10 p.m. He woke up at about 1 a.m. Hong usually knocked on the front door when she got home, and her brother would let her in. That night, Kua had not heard a knock, and he looked out the window of the apartment they lived in then at McDonough Homes, which is public housing in St. Paul. Kua said, quote, "The snow was coming down pretty hard, and I did not see footprints from the parking lot. I got up just to see if I missed her or if she was going to be on her way. I did have a bad feeling that kind of crawled up my neck, but of course I was still a kid and I didn't know what to do, end quote. Kua said that Hong put her friends and family before herself. He said, quote, she's very loyal. She does not betray her friends. She trusted people very fast, end quote, which also may have put her at risk, according to her brother. So the next day at Como High School, which Kua and Nikki attended, Kua said, once again, he asked, do you know where my sister's at? She said she didn't know. Hong's mother reported her daughter missing to police a few days later. Kua does not think police initially took the case as seriously as they do now, probably suspecting the teen had run away. And because his mother and father did not speak English, according to a brother, they did not know the proper channels to push for Hong's case to get attention. Williams, the investigator, said that he believes officers back then, quote, did everything they were supposed to do and then some, but I think they may have been under the impression that she was a runaway and that she was going to come back, end quote. Oh my God. Even though she was seen by the friend, quote unquote friend Nikki, get into the car with Mr. Wallace, who did not have had this history of SA offenses. So police soon were looking into Wallace. A news article published in 1994 after Hong had been missing for a year said that police had questioned Wallace but found him uncooperative and that he had retained a lawyer who advised him to say nothing further. The St. Paul police investigators now working on the case have not talked to Wallace. Why not? Well, because he's got a lawyer, apparently. But they have talked to Nikki Lee. Nikki Lee worked for Wallace, who had a small painting company, according to Williams. Wallace asked Nikki if she had friends who might be interested in working for him, and the first person who came to mind for her was Hong. Nikki reported, according to Williams. So Williams said of what Nikki Lee recounted, quote, she said, the funny thing about it was he did not have enough work for her to do, so why would he be asking her to find someone else, end quote. Well, I've got my ideas. So, of course, at the time of this article, Nikki could not be reached for comment. So Wallace picked the girls up in a white pickup truck, possibly a four-wheel drive. Williams said, quote, he had mentioned taking them to the casino. How did he get them in the casino? He says it was really snowing, and Nikki said, well, we have school tomorrow, end quote. So January 12th, 1993 saw the first significant snowfall of that season, according to news reports from the time. 6 inches of snow fell, according to records. On the way back, while Wallace was still with Nikki and Hong, he switched cars for reasons police don't know. It was a 1988 tan or silver Chevy Cavalier, said Officer Mong Lee, who was another investigator on the case. Nikki told police that Wallace said that he had dropped her off at her home in Frogtown first, and then Hong, because she lived closer to him, said that Wallace lived in Maplewood then, according to Williams. Nikki reported that she got out of Wallace's car and looked back. She saw Hong, who had been sitting in the back, getting into the front passenger seat. And that was the last time she saw her friend, and she had no idea what happened to her, she told police. So Sergeant Kevin Navarra, who spent years at the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office investigating Hong's disappearance, was also there for the conversation with Nikki. He said he believes her. I don't know about that. So Wallace previously told police that he had dropped Hong off at Wright Street and Wheelock Parkway near the restaurant where she worked. So we've already went over Mr. Wallace's criminal record. I'm not going to, it gives all the details of what he did to these poor girls that, if you want to, once again, then all the links are in the description box. If you want to read that part of the article, you can. I'm not going to read it here. Okay, so I'll just read one part. It says on May 19th, 1987, a 22-year-old woman told police that an unknown man had called her and offered her a job in the radio industry, according to a police report. She had set up a meeting with him, but was suspicious because she knew personal records of hers had been taken in a theft from a teacher's vehicle. So an undercover female officer went to the meeting in the woman's place, and the woman who met her was later identified as Wallace. Got into her car, had her drive around, supposedly to an office, according to the report. Police arrested Wallace, and at that time, he was carrying a bag that contained a knife and a roll of black tape. So, yeah. So Wallace told police that he had broken into a car, taken records, and made phone calls to a woman whose information he found in the records, according to a police report, and that his intention was to SA her, according to the report. Oh my gosh. So he was convicted of this criminal conduct in the St. Paul and Cottage Grove cases. He was sent to prison in August 1988. He got out on supervised release in 1991, and his sentence expired on January 10th, 1993, according to state records. And then he was sent back to prison in 2010 after being convicted of theft and identity theft. He's on supervised probation. So now they said in the other article, he's in this rehab, whatever facility for sexual psychopaths. Okay, so back to Hong. So police occasionally check Hong Lee's social security number to see if she is working or getting benefits, but there's been no activity. Kua Lee says that he hopes his sister is alive, but he thinks the chance is slim because she would have contacted him if she could. In 2009, a promising lead in the case fizzled out. The Maplewood home where Wallace grew up and where he had continued to live off and on was in foreclosure. Also, this was when they brought the cadaver dogs out that we talked about earlier, where the dogs showed interest, and then they drilled the holes, and then they lost interest. But this says after a ground probe was used to allow any odors to rise up through the ground, each dog, one at a time, gave alerts that indicate, quote, a presence of either human bone, human blood, or human flesh in the area, end quote. Navarro wrote in the affidavit. So it says when the dogs came back for a second search, most failed to indicate an alert for human remains. So it was the second time that they failed to alert. So in 2011, NCMEC released an age-progressed photo of Hong, something the organization does every 2 years until a missing child turns 21, and every 5 years after that until he or she is found. Bob Laurie, who's senior executive director of the Missing Children Division, said, quote, they're good for public dissemination in case someone sees a person who looks like the child. It also serves to remind the public that we do not forget about cases like Hong's just because she's been gone since 1993. We still remember, we are still actively searching for her, end quote. St. Paul police do not close any missing person case unless it's been solved. Police ask anyone with information about Hong Lee to come forward. Police said they will take any piece of information people have, including anyone who remembers seeing anything suspicious on January 12th, 1993, or in the days after. People can make their tips anonymously. Officer Williams said, quote, anytime there's a disappearance or a crime, usually someone knows something. They may be a little hesitant to come forward, or they may say, I don't want to get involved, but someone knows something, end quote. Hong Lee's family also wishes for help to solve her disappearance. Kua Lee says, quote, I just hope people find it in their heart to call the St. Paul Police Department if they know anything to help find her. More than anything, I want to find closure for my mom, end quote. Ugh. So this case, yeah, I don't even like to call him Mr. Wallace here is top of my list. But absolutely, let me know what you guys think. Let me get back down to lots of comments popping up. Let me find where I left off. Okay, there. I remember to mark where I left off. Oh, Lisa Joe, you talking about Hong's case? She said, I recognize this case. Yes, she is beautiful. Absolutely. Did the laundry get dry, Junior? Junior says the walk for Abby and Libby is Saturday and Sunday. Yep, Miss Paula says she is a Skid Row fan, as am I. I love Skid Row. I got to meet them back in the day. They've always been one of my favorite groups. But yeah, we would have been friends. We would have been friends, me and Hong. She was a heavy metal girl. She loved Skid Row. She loved 80s heavy metal music. We would have got along very well. Oh, see, another reason me and Mustang are friends. Mustang says, I love Skid Row. Problem Child was my favorite song. Oh, yeah. I love Skid Row. Junior says that when he's drunk, he might be speaking Hmong. Yeah, Youth Gone Wild. I think that was my theme song growing up or when I was a teenager. Okay, Lisa Joe says Woodbury is an eastern suburb. Lisa Joe says, so did they look at his old business? I don't know. I hope they looked at everything they possibly could find on Wallace. I mean, to me, he's number one on the list of suspects / persons of interest. I mean, he had the history, the essay history. That history included luring women by for job interviews, which is what allegedly he was going to do with Hong. And I'm telling you, just my opinion, I'm telling you, Nikki, the friend, if she didn't participate in it, in my opinion, she knows something and she's just not saying. Just not saying. Yeah, Boston Christian says that's so sad for her. Absolutely. Lisa Jo said her parents went to Highland, the high school. Yeah, far says a job interview at night. Yep. I'm telling you, all this is hinky. Everything about it. Nikki. She said first of all, Hong said she didn't trust Nikki, so evidently she had some reason not to trust Nikki. And then Nikki, the supposed friend, said that she thought it was strange that the Wallace wanted to interview Hong for a job because he didn't even have enough work to give to Nikki or to whoever was working for him already. So yeah, in my opinion, it's all just a ruse to get her by herself. Okay, so Junior talking about the Abby and Libby walk, says the 23rd and 24th at the trails. She said to bring a raincoat. We might get a little rain. Wallace's name is oh God, what was it? Stephen. Hold on, I'll get it. Goodness gracious. Mark Stephen Wallace is his full name. Mark Stephen Wallace. Yep, she got it. She got it before I got there. Lisa Joe said, yeah, it says sewage can make dogs alert. Yeah, I guess it said the first time they went, I think what two out of the 3 dogs alerted, and then they went back the second time and none of them alerted. So who knows? I don't know. They said the neighbors said that storage building or whatever it was went up very quickly. So it's possible that, you hate to think about it, it's possible that remains could be under there. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Lisa Joe says Moose Lake is up closer to her. Oh, Boston says you got company coming in. Oh yeah, dogs like to do that for some reason. Junior said I had a Jack Russell. They could smell a deceased animal miles away and then roll around on it. Yeah. Oh man, when I was doing home health caregiving, of course we have cats. But when I was doing home health caregiving, one of my clients that I worked with lived with her daughter and son-in-law, and they had a dog. I believe it was a golden retriever, or no, a golden lab. And Sadie would go outside and find whatever, because there was always dead critters like squirrels, whatever. She would roll around in it, and I would let her back in the house. And oh my gosh, I don't understand why dogs do that. Anyway, let me see. Get caught up, and I think we got one more case. Yeah, definitely red flags. I'm telling you, this Wallace, and I'm telling you, I keep saying it. I don't mean to harp on it, but I think Nikki knows something, knows more than she's saying. Now y'all talking about Johnny Cash. Lisa Joe says Cottage Grove is another Twin Cities suburb. Yep, Junior says, never ceases to amaze me how many sick people are out there. I agree. Oh, I love John Sanford. UCC says, I fear the pretense of napping might become real. I want to read a John Sanford novel tomorrow. I'm not going anywhere. Oh man, how are you? I've read most of his Lucas Davenport series. I love John Sanford. Anyway, he's one of my favorite, probably my favorite true crime fiction author. But good night, just in case you fall asleep. Really? Lisa Joe said there is a Reddit post from Wallace's son. Ooh, I might have to check that out. I don't know if I want to or not. Yeah, Wallace or Boston says she's beautiful. Yep. Far says she didn't know who Skid Row is. They were in the 80s. They were one of the whatever you want to call it, the 80s hair bands, glam band, hair metal, whatever you want to call them. I call them hair bands. That's my favorite. That's my go-to. That's my jam. Junior says I was a little groupie. Why? Just because I said I met some bands or a band? Well, I met a couple. No, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I met a few, 3 or 4. Always in a public setting. Yeah, Mustang said 80s hair metal. Yep, you know it, girl. Yeah, Far, do look them up. They're one of my favorites. Still are. I don't know how many times I saw them. Back in the day when you could afford to go to concerts. You know, you could, back in the 80s, early 90s, you get like a ticket for $15 and a t-shirt for $10. Those were the days. And then, you know, me and my baby brother, going to see Bryan Adams and Pat Benatar August 1st. And tickets for that one were like $75, which we were cheap. We were happy to get tickets for $75. Most of the time it's, you know, even nosebleed is almost $100. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, if you, check out, you said Mustang put in the link to Youth Gone Wild. Yeah, check out the self-titled, the Skid Row CD or whatever, where you can find it, Screaming That Hole. That's one of the CDs that I can listen to front to back, every song. Don't skip a song. It's great, in my opinion. Oh Lord, Junior hitting links and got lost. We might have to go searching for Junior. Oh, I think he made it back. Yep. I can't. Yeah. Me and Mom here. I think it was in 2000. I got the T-shirt right here. 10 years ago, 2016. Me and my mom went down to Tunica, Mississippi. Pat and Neil Giraldo, who is her husband now, but he was her guitar, or still a guitar player, but he was the guitar player back in the day, and they ended up getting married, but they did a show. We saw them back in 2016. It was just those two and a guitar, and fantastic. Now I don't know what it'll be, if they'll have a full band when they play with Bryan Adams, but yeah, they're fantastic. I've never seen Bryan Adams live. I'm excited about seeing Bryan Adams live. Love Bryan Adams. Mustang says, I don't miss cassette tapes. I think every one of mine eventually got eaten by the cassette player. Oh yeah, mine too. Mine too. Okay, I think I'm caught up. I think we have one more, and then we will be done. Thank you. Lisa Jo said she sent me the Reddit link. Thank you, ma'am. I will definitely check it out, see what that's all about. All right, so we have William Campbell Underhill, and this is probably the oldest one. It's from 1969, 2 years before I was even born. So let me get his information. Oh, come on and load. So William Campbell Underhill has been missing since March 1st, 1969, from St. Paul. He's a white male. He was just 20 years old when he went missing. He'll be 77 years old as of 2026. When he went missing, he was 6'2", 175 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. He has previously dislocated his shoulder, and he has a small scar on his forehead, and his nickname is Bill. Last known clothing was a brown suede coat, a beige sweater, blue jeans, and brown suede boots. So William was last seen at a party at an apartment near 14th Avenue and 5th Street on the West Bank at the University of Minnesota's Minneapolis-St. Paul campus. Most of the guests were friends from high school, and at some point, he got up and walked out the door. Another partygoer went outside to look for him, but he could not find him. Between 9 and 11 p.m., William called his girlfriend and said that he was going away, just said he was going away, and he hoped that she would always remain a good person. So she interpreted this as a breakup call. She asked where he was. He would not tell her, and she said that he sounded sad. After that, he has never been heard from again. A few days later, a friend gave his leather jacket to his parents. His wallet was inside it. So I wonder if he left the jacket and wallet at the party. So then he was reported missing that same week. At the time of his disappearance, he was studying liberal arts at the University of Minnesota. He lived with his parents and sister in the 1200 block of Raymond Avenue. He commuted 2 miles to school, and his disappearance remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, call the Minneapolis PD at 612-673-2345. So I'm wondering whether if he had to have left the jacket at the party, I'm assuming. Because it said when he was at the party, it said at some point he just got up and walked out the door. Another person that was at the party went outside to look for him but couldn't find him. So he just got up and walked away. This may be a case of just either possibly self-harm or just getting up and walking out of your life. But if he did that, he didn't take his wallet with him. And wallet ID, any money or anything. All right, I think I was able to find one article. So this is from parkbugle.org from November 2022. What happened to William Bill Underhill? So in early March of 1969, St. Anthony Park resident William Bill Underhill was a student in the College of Liberal Arts at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. After finishing a sociology final exam, Bill attended a small party at an apartment in the Hughes Dinkytown district. He visited with friends for a while, then abruptly left the party, leaving behind his coat. So that's how the friend or whoever got the jacket. So that was the last time that Bill was ever seen. 53 years later, Bill's sisters, Mary Underhill and Sarah Holm, have renewed hope of finding Bill or his remains. That's because in April, retired Minneapolis police detective Holly Kegel and her sister Heidi Hilton began volunteering their time in search of Bill in their first missing persons cold case. Kegel said that she became interested in Bill's case after seeing a missing persons Facebook page for him established by his sisters. Kegel said, quote, "There are heartwarming stories and memories of Bill, amazing photographs, and kind words expressed by many. Unfortunately, Bill's parents are deceased. The strength and courage displayed by Bill's sisters are admirable and touching." He added, "My sister Heidi is working alongside me, and it has been an honor for us to go on this journey with Bill's sisters in hopes to help bring Bill home," end quote. For the Underhill sisters, getting contacted by Kegel and Hilton, who is a health and fitness coach, occurred, quote, out of the blue. Mary told the Bugle, quote, "Hopeful is not a word I use much in regard to finding Bill. It's as if I'll jinx the possibility of finding him if I use the word, but I'm hopeful these days. To me, it's the best shot that we've had," end quote. Not knowing what happened to Bill has been heartbreaking for the Underhill sisters. Mary said, quote, "The thought that we may die before we find him is very difficult," end quote. Mary, who is now 66, was just 13 when Bill disappeared. Sarah was 19. She said that she and her family weren't initially alarmed that they hadn't heard from their brother after he took his sociology final on about March 13th, noting that he was not always in daily contact with them. Kegel said, quote, "We do not know the address or exact location of the party, and would love to find anyone that may have attended, end quote. I wonder, hopefully they should have talked to whoever the friend was that brought the jacket back that he left at the party. So a few days after Bill's disappearance, after the party, the time turned into weeks, and the sisters and their parents, who lived in South St. Anthony Park, had not heard from Bill. They searched for him through friends. They checked with the university and his campus employer, but no leads. Mary said, quote, when Bill disappeared, our parents reported him as a missing person to the St. Paul PD, but I imagine there wasn't much for the police to investigate back then. He was an adult. There was no immediate concern of foul play, and the Vietnam War left the possibility that he had gone to Canada. There was always the hope that he would come back, end quote. Mary added, quote, over the years, we wrote to the Social Security Administration to see if there were any records of Bill working, but there was nothing to be found either. Kegel said, quote, Bill was living at home in the 1200 block of Raymond Avenue when he disappeared. No investigation or search was ever conducted. Bill was not officially listed as a missing person until 2013. So he was last seen in 1969. He was not officially listed until 2013, when the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension reached out to the Underhill family to obtain DNA so that Bill could be entered into NamUs. Wow. Kegel said there is no evidence that Bill went to Canada. So apparently they checked Canadian records to see if he had become a citizen of Canada. In 2014, the Murray High School graduating class of 1966, which included Bill, held a reunion the year many class members were turning 66 years old. Mary and Sarah had a table at that reunion, hoping that they might get some tips on what happened to Bill. Many high school classmates didn't know that Bill was even missing, Mary said. She said, quote, it was hard for people to know what to say or do, end quote. But that class reunion was opportunity to share stories about Bill and keep his memory alive. In 2015, Mary and Sarah started the Facebook page devoted to finding Bill. It is titled the William Campbell Underhill Facebook page. And let me see if it's got a link. If it's not broken, I'll put it in chat. Hold on, let me check it right quick. Let's see if it'll come up. Oh, yeah, there it is. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'll put it in chat for anybody who's on Facebook. All right, there's the link. All right, let me go back to the article. So in the first months since they began searching for clues on what happened to Bill, Kegel and Hilton said that progress has been painstakingly slow. The passage of time has made the search difficult. Hilton said, quote, we are on a wide path, but every day we start to narrow the path a little bit. We are trying to get information to put the pieces of the picture together. It's a little step by step, end quote. For Mary and Sarah, getting Bill's disappearance resolved would be a godsend. Mary said, quote, when I was young, I felt like I could somehow will him home. For many years, I thought he would come home, he would call, he would show up at the door. Someone who knew him in the past would let us know where he was or tell us something that might lead us to him, but that never happened, end quote. She continued, quote, as years went by, I no longer thought of him as alive, and my hope changed to finding his bones, to being able to bury him, to do what people do when someone dies. And then even that hope began to dim, which was terrible to imagine. Our parents died not knowing what happened to their son. Oh. She concluded, quote, if we find out what happened to Bill, it will be thanks to Holly and Heidi. It's a wonderful gift they've given us. They are fearless and undeterred by the number of years they that have passed since we saw him last. With time, it is less important to me to know what happened to Bill than it is to find his bones, whatever remains of our brother, our parents' son. Sometimes I let myself imagine just for a moment what it would be like to find Bill. It would be a homecoming, end quote. Oh, I'm going to cry. So Mary Underhill said that she and her sister Sarah, along with Kegel and Hilton, are sharing the story about Bill with the Bugle in hopes that someone in the community may have important information to share that could help bring Bill home. Kegel said, quote, if you know anything about Bill or even knew Bill at one time, please contact me via messenger or email. No information is too small or insignificant, end quote. Oh, it just breaks my heart. So I don't know. Like I said, this could be, he just, I don't know. What you guys, as always, let me know what you guys think. I mean, he could have just got up, walked out the door, something nefarious happened. He could have just got up, walked out, started a new life somewhere without his ID, anything. Could have been self-harm. It could be a myriad of things, unfortunately. Let me get caught up in comments and then we will get out of here. Okay, Lisa Joe. Oh, are you going? Okay, so Lisa Joe says, are you talking about the Reddit Wallace's son? So going back to Hong's case, Lisa Joe says nothing groundbreaking, but he thinks his father. He thinks his father is responsible. So Mr. Wallace's son thinks his father is responsible. He's probably not the only one that thinks that. Mustang says Charles Manson was in 1969. Lisa Joe sounds like self-harm. Yes, that's kind of what I'm, just from the statements. Let me go back to, because he called his girlfriend, right? Let me go back. So he called his girlfriend, I think that night. So it says between 9 and 11 p.m. He called his girlfriend and said he was going away, and he hoped she would always remain a good person. Now, so she interpreted this as a breakup call. She asked him where he was. He wouldn't tell her. He sounded sad. Yeah, so it possibly, that's what I'm thinking too, unfortunately. But I mean, which is not uncommon, but I mean, they've never found any remains, but I mean, who knows where I don't know the terrain of wherever he was. I mean, it just said he got up, walked out of the party. Did he have a vehicle where he could have driven somewhere out of the way, some remote place? And they just haven't found him, yeah, but just definitely sad, obviously. Yeah, this seems like the general consensus with you guys. Yes, definitely sad. What? Now Boston's picking up skunks? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing out there? I've never seen a white skunk. What? I've seen black and white skunks. Yeah, they are mean. Or I've always thought I stay away from them. Junior said I thought skunks were mean. Okay, an albino. I've never. Okay, so Mustang says an albino skunk. I think they are rare. I've never seen it. And oh, Boston's getting the storms again in the distance. Yep, stay safe, most definitely. It's quieting down here now in central Arkansas. think there's a small chance, spotty chance of some more, maybe just rain and stuff tomorrow here, but we need the rain. We don't need the, thank goodness there wasn't a really, if at all, like tornado chance here today, but just your run of the mill thunderstorms and rain, which we need. Okay, so there is, for anybody on Facebook, there's the link to William Bill's Facebook page that his sisters made. Oh, everything jumped. Yeah, definitely sad. See, that's what I was wondering. Mustang said, is there any water around? Maybe he had drank too much and drowned. I don't know. That would be good to know. That's why I said I would like to know what the terrain was at wherever this party was at. Where did it say it was at? It was an apartment near 14th Avenue and 5th Street on the West Bank. So apparently it was on the University of Minnesota, the Minneapolis St. Paul campus on the West Bank at the University of Minnesota, or the Minneapolis St. Paul campus. So I wonder, if there is any water around there. It is possible if there was a body of water around there that he could have, either accidentally went into the water, or if he had self-harm ideations, just went into the water on purpose. But yeah, that would be interesting to know if there was water. It would also help explain why they've never found his remains. Okay, hold on. So Farrell had to explain to me. So she said, before you go, we just had a suppression order overturned here after 25 years. First off, what's a suppression order? The guy was part of the Snowtown Bodies in Barrels. He was 19 at the time and is now due for parole. What's a suppression order? I'm not too far. I'm only 2 minutes behind in comments. Maybe Forrest's still here. What's the name? I will look it up. Junior, are you still talking about the ex? Are you singing? You said something about Bob Seger. What? Okay, so far said the other two involved will never be released, which is rare in Australia and reserved for worst of the worst. So I need to know what a suppression order is. Is that like a parole here in the U.S.? Yeah, Junior says, talking about William, people just walk away sometimes. That is true. That is very true. Ooh, now Boston's talking about neighbors. She says Kalamazoo, Michigan, last big tornado, May 13th, 1980. That was the year my baby brother was born, at F3. Yeah, the one that hit my town, guy's been probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Probably 15 years ago. It was, I think they said maybe a low end F3. They're not fun. We hid out in the my baby sister-in-law, the one that passed away. She worked at the local bank at the time, and we went into their big safe vault, money vault. That's where we went when the neighbor went over. Mustang says far or. So what is this that Far is talking about? I'm going to have to give me some names so I can look it up and talk about it at some point. Boston said near university. So there's water by the university. Says Boston said near university by the water, not good. So I don't know. I know Echoes is gone as he went to bed. I don't know if Lisa Joe's still here. If they could clue us in on if there's bodies of water near the university, the college. Junior says, I've heard this story before. I think he left in the middle of a card game or something. Yeah, it says he just got up abruptly and just walked out the door. Left his jacket with his wallet. Never seen again. But he called his girlfriend, I think at some point, I'm assuming after he left. Yeah, because I don't know. It didn't say exactly what time he left the party, but it said between 9 and 11 p.m. is when he called his girlfriend to say that he was going away. So it's very strange. Forrest says they weren't allowed to show his face at all. You guys are going to have to give me some names so I know what y'all talking about so I can look it up. Oh, you're fine, Junior. I appreciate all your input, no matter what it is. Yes, I love Bob Seger. Me and Mom, it was again years ago, probably 20 years ago. Me and my mom went to see Bob Seger. They came to Little Rock, North Little Rock. Very, very good concert. My mom is a big Bob Seger fan, therefore I am a big Bob Seger fan. Oh, Lisa Joe's still here. She says probably the Mississippi River. So it is possible that he could have, like I said, either intentionally or unintentionally went into the river or body of water if he was out just wandering around. Okay, so far says John Bunting was the leader, Robert Wagner and James Vlasics. He is the one whose face has just been released. He is so the suppression is kind of like the parole. Okay, so I'm going to have to definitely look into that. Okay, Lisa Joe says the University of Minnesota is a few blocks from the river, so it is possible that he could have, like I said, either unintentionally or intentionally ended up in the river. Sad. So I'm going to have to look up this Australian case that Forrest's talking about. Junior said he's seen Bob quite a few times. I've just seen him the one time, but he was really good. Yeah, that is a good one. Mustang says still the same as her all-time favorite Bob Seger song. God, I don't think I could narrow it down to one favorite song. Oh gosh, I don't know. Oh, okay, so far says a suppression order is you can't show their face or name sometimes. The public has no right to really to any information on them. Wow, that's a lot different than in the US. They are, I mean, I can't think of, unless they're a minor here, unless they're under 18. And then sometimes even if they are under 18, depending on, like if it's a violent crime like a homicide, they will give the name and show the face. Yeah, but they're all about showing faces and names here in the States. Yeah, that's a good question. Mustang said, do they keep an eye on them after they're released? I hope so. Yeah, Far says I hope so. They'll do what there? Alicia Joe says they'll do that here. Do what? I've lost the plot apparently. Yeah, Far is in Australia. All right, I think that is, yep, that's the last one I have for the night. So, oh, so Lisa Joe says if there's police involved, they will suppress. Yeah, okay, yes, they'll suppress. Right, so anybody has any last thoughts, questions, comments? Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you to the lurkers. We love our lurkers. If your replay crew, thank you so much. We love our replay crew. Please leave a comment once again to let me know your replay, and anybody who, even if you were in chat after live stream ends, please go leave a comment, even if it's just an emoji. It does help the algorithm. Hit the like button, comment, share it. That's the most important thing we can all do to anybody's live streams or videos about missing persons cases, not just mine. Anybody that you watch. So I probably won't be able to do another live stream till next Monday, until I can't talk. Goodness gracious, until Monday for our next missing person Monday live stream. Yeah, I think Echoes was right earlier. It is way past my bedtime. But anyway, thank you everybody. Thank you Mustang, appreciate you. Thank you, Lisa Joe. She says a very well-known case I've worked on the court. Which case? I've worked on the court. No, a very well-known case I've worked on. The court blocked the DNA match. What case are you talking about? She's not sure why. Thank you. Thanks once again, Miss Thing. Thank you, Miss Farr. Thank you, Miss Paula. Thank you, Junior. He says, yes, let's all go to bed. Thanks, Dawn and everyone. Thank you, Junior. Oh, she can't say. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I understand, ma'am. All right, guys, let me multitask. So until probably next Monday or this coming, next Monday, this coming Monday. Everybody be safe, everybody be kind, just be a good human. All we have is each other, so take care of each other. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.